Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regularly scheduled Springettsbury Township Board of Supervisors meeting. First item will be a pledge to the flag. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief. So this is a special occasion to swear in another officer. This is one of the favorite things that I have to do. So if you would raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, John Stewart,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and ordinances of Springettsbury Township,
and ordinances of Springettsbury Township,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with
Of my
fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
I pledge to obey and enforce the law
I pledge to obey and enforce the law
without discrimination
without discrimination
under federal, state, or local laws.
under federal, state, and local laws.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So the oath that John just took, we take very seriously at Springettsbury Township, and we believe that the badge that we wear on our chest embodies that oath. So we give a little memento when people are sworn in. It's called the Springettsbury Badge. I'll read it here quick, and now we'll give this to John. It says, "My lawful appointment and my path give life and significance to this badge. It is not something that can be earned, it is bestowed. It is a symbol of power and authority granted by law through public trust. It transforms carefully selected community members into guardians whose mandate is to honorably serve and vigilantly protect their community. My acceptance of this badge requires a significant commitment, a commitment that requires focus, self-development, honor, courage, and the pursuit of my personal potential. I will honor all that my badge represents for the brief time that I am privileged to be entrusted with its care." So present that to John and say thank you and
Thank
welcome
you,
aboard.
Chief. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. We have had no executive sessions since our last meeting, so at this point, I would like to open up the floor for communication from citizens. If there is anyone in attendance on Zoom that would like to address the board, click the raise hand button. Otherwise, anybody in the audience here who would like to address the board, please raise your hand to be recognized. Yes, please. Excuse me? Yes, come up to the mic, name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Francisco Santos, 410 Jordanelle Drive. Okay. I'm here on behalf of the Springetts Retreat HOA Board of Directors. Well, hello. And I just have a quick topic to address. The streets in the neighborhood were turned over to the township in February, and we were expecting police presence in their neighborhood for the streets and patrolling the neighborhood. We're having issues with street parking. One side of the street, you know, those streets are very narrow. I don't know if you've been in the community or not. They're very, very small, very narrow. We're having issues with people parking on both sides of the road. We have one side that's no parking, other side parking. When they're parking on both sides, we're having issues with emergency vehicles not able to get through, and school buses, pen waste, et cetera. And we would like to know when we would have police presence in the neighborhood to look at parking violations. That's the first question I have.
The police protection or police presence is now.
Okay.
Once they became public roadways, it's valid now.
Okay.
The only thing the police can enforce in your neighborhood is the side of the street that has the no parking signs.
Okay.
And if there are violations, the best thing to do would be call 911 and report it.
Okay.
Because a police officer may not be through the area
Understood.
at the time that it's there.
Okay. So then we would just call 911, say there's violations. Okay, that sounds good. We have another question about the parking on Jordanelle Drive. For some reason, they put no parking signs on both sides of that street, and that goes into a cul-de-sac. So we understand that the cul-de-sac shouldn't have any parking, but we would like to have parking on one side of the street on Jordanelle leading up to the cul-de-sac, because when they created the neighborhood, they didn't have spaces for visitor parking. So we would like for one side of Jordanelle leading up to the cul-de-sac to be parking, and then the other side no parking, like the other roads in the neighborhood, the other streets. So would like to know if that would be something that we could do.
We can certainly look at that. There was a reason why that particular street had no parking all the way around it. I can't remember that reason right now, but
Okay.
we can certainly, I can certainly meet with my staff and see what that reasoning was and get back to you.
That sounds great.
If you could call me
Yes,
and leave a message.
I can do
then
that.
Then that'll be the best way I can get back to you.
That sounds great. And along with the parking as well, with some of the residents, they're parking in their driveway, and sometimes they impede the sidewalk. Would that be included with the patrol, with the police, or would that be an HOA issue that we would have to address?
That's more of an HOA issue.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. That's all my time for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Harish Doshi. I'm also, just like Frankie, I'm from Springettsbury Retreat, live on 14 Lady Harrington Drive, and member of the board at HOA. Some of the concerns we have with the street lights, and who pays for the street light, we are not quite sure.
Each property is assessed a streetlight tax. Once it became a public roadway, then that'll be part of the tax bill that every property receives.
So the residents pays,
Correct,
so wherever the street light is, the resident pays.
correct.
How do we know that, how does the resident know that he's paying for it or not?
It'll be in the property tax bill that you receive that's due in April, typically in April. It's part of that tax bill.
Oh, okay. Sound good. Is there any typical charges for those?
I don't know the formula off the top of my head, but it shows up as its own line item on the tax bill.
On the
It would
tax
say
bill.
streetlight tax.
Oh, okay. All right. But the idea of each resident or the resident who has that light on his property, he's paying, the community gets the benefit of it.
There's a formula of, it just because the light pole's on your property doesn't mean your neighbor's not paying as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll make a known to our members community on that.
Recording in progress.
Everybody is paying for it. The second thing that in our community, we want to post some signs for a good neighborhood and sort of a neighborhood parole practice. And we want to put some signs Now, we had some guidance from the township not to put it certain areas. So my question is, who owns the land of it? Is it the township own it or the HOA owns the land? And if the HOA owns the land, why does it have a township regulations on where do we put the signs on it?
The township does not own any of the land, but we do have right-of-way with the road right-of-way. So that's the area that we would control on what can go in the road right-of-way and what cannot.
Is there an ordinance for it?
Excuse me?
Some sort of a guidelines that where do we put the signs and where we don't?
We can work with you to see what would be allowed and what wouldn't be allowed.
Okay. All right. Do I contact your office for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board this evening? All right, then, moving on, we have our engineering reports. Diana.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have no updates to the report that was submitted. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
John?
Just two quick updates. The first is next Thursday, there's a zoning hearing meeting, which I was subpoenaed to. One of the items of discussion, as you know, will be the York Suburban School parking issue out there. Secondly, as you know, we've been working with our consultant on our TASA grant to put the sidewalk in front of Giant. And one of their, because there's federal money involved, we just today received conditional approval to publish these plans and a rendering that we could put on our website and display one in the lobby. I'll work with the manager. We actually have to hang a small request so people could comment on the project to see its value. PennDOT requires that. So probably in the next, as we address that comment, probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to post the signs and put it on our website. So that's all I have.
It's been a long time coming.
It is. No doubt.
Any questions for our engineer?
TASA, it's transportation,
TA
TASA. Transport, yep.
set aside.
set aside, yep, thank you.
Next, we have our consent agenda. We have items A through L. Anything on here that anyone would like to have removed for further discussion?
I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through L.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have bids, proposals, contracts, and agreements. The first, this is almost like a bank out in the Midwest. The Sixth Amendment, Fifth Third Bank. Sixth Amendment to Articles of Agreement between PA American Water and Springettsbury Township, extending the term until July 1st, 2025.
Mr. Chairman, we continue to work on coming to a resolution. I think we may be getting closer. Well, not I think, we are getting closer. Again, as I've stated before, the only thing that this does is change the term. Nothing else changes.
Do we hear a motion?
The only comment I have, if I can make a quick comment.
Sure.
is we're extending the term to July 1st.
Yeah, I know.
This is the 26th.
James and I had that discussion.
And
You're going to resolve it in the next 4 days.
we will have it resolved. I can assure you that nothing in that agreement is at risk by exceeding the July 1st date. And I'm in contact with PA American Water's council. We're in good shape. So just the nature of how we have meetings right now, once a month. I mean, if you guys want to have more meetings, we can certainly do that, and I can get the agreement to you sooner. I'm kidding.
With that, I would move for approval of the Sixth Amendment of the Articles of Agreement between PA American Water Company and Springettsbury Township, extending the term until July 1st, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is authorization to enter into memorandum of understanding between Springettsbury Township and Newberry Township for law enforcement, mental health, and wellness support services using grant funding.
Mr. Chairman, Chief King has been working on a program for mental health for the police department for probably at least a year now, and recently has been in discussion with the police chief from Newberry Township. They've had a program for the past 3 or 4 years, and they started their program through this same grant, and that grant has expired. They've offered that we could tag along with them in this grant application and go about it in a cooperative effort. And so this is just to enter into the memorandum of understanding, and if the grant's not successful, then we'll have to wait until funding is available to start our own program.
Make a motion to authorize entering into the memorandum of understanding between Springettsbury Township and Newberry Township for law enforcement, mental health, and wellness support services using grant funding.
This is Charles, I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next, we have authorization to engage with the Cohen Law Group to conduct a franchise fee audit of Comcast in an amount not to exceed $8,500.
Mr. Chairman, Cohen Law Group is the law firm that we use every time it's necessary to renegotiate our franchise agreement with Comcast. It's the same firm we used for the similar agreement we have with Glow Fiber or Chantel for that new fiber network. Me and Springettsbury and 3 other managers approached them, your county managers approached them about doing an audit of the franchise fee to make sure that we've received everything that we're due. And this is the fee this is the maximum fee. If all of us agree to go into the audit, it'll knock off like $1,000. But anyways, there's no guarantee they're going to find any payment due to us, but I believe the last time we had it done, it was around $2,000 that they found that we were due. Other municipalities, it was closer to $30,000, $40,000. So I think it's worth us doing, and even if it doesn't show that we're due anything, at least we're confident in the number.
It keeps them honest.
And it keeps them honest. So I recommend entering into that audit with them.
Discussion?
Just a question, they don't have a service, well, they'll do it on a contingent fee basis where they have skin in the game, they only get paid if they find something?
I don't know if they have that option or not. This is what they provided to all of us.
Okay.
8,500 would be our share,
That's our share, max share.
max share.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move for authorization to engage with Cohen Law Group to conduct a franchise fee and audit of Comcast in an amount not to exceed $8,500.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, I have authorization to hold public auction at the Public Works Facility for various township vehicles and miscellaneous equipment.
Mr. Chairman, Denny Craybill has compiled a list of equipment from both departments, wastewater treatment and Public Works, and some police equipment as well. And it's substantial enough where we think the best way to dispose of it would be a public auction.
Anybody?
Move to authorize holding the public auction.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Communication from supervisors. Anybody have anything?
I do have one thing. I was happy to get an email from PSATS recently, because this is pertaining to a topic that I began putting bugs in some of our state representatives' ears about 10 years ago. And it has to do with the state requirement that for anything Springettsbury, or any municipality for that matter, is going to advertise, it must be done in a local newspaper. And given the demise of local newspapers through the years in terms of circulation and who actually reads them, it felt like there were better ways to reach audiences than through advertising in the newspapers. So I was happy to see that the Senate in Pennsylvania has advanced out of committee Senate Bill 194, which changes the ways that municipalities can notify the public of upcoming meetings and all the other public notices that you're currently required to give. It's a very common sense bill, and it's going to save municipalities a lot of money that's wasted on, for example, fake news. I mean, York Daily Record and York Dispatch. So I would encourage anyone who's here tonight, including our board, to contact Kristen Hill, our state senator, with support for Senate Bill 194.
I will add that I reached out to her chief of staff earlier this week in my support having her, and the reply I got is she's a co-sponsor of the bill, so she's fully behind it.
I like it. Thanks, George. Anyone else? All right, then we'll move to solicitor's report. Any questions for James?
Mr. Chairman, it's Charles. I do have one question for James. James, I noticed kind of like a couple cases in your report where we have some defiant individuals. Is this something new on the rise?
The one case is not new. It's an ongoing issue that has been filed immediately with the magistrate and will be dealt with in front of the magistrate. The second one is relatively new and again has been filed directly with the magistrate after notice. But they both involve very similar fact patterns in that we have an ordinance in place that allows for special permits to do things like clearance sales and Saturday sales, et cetera, for businesses in their parking lots, but it's for businesses that are existing in that shopping center. What these two particular cases have involved is third-party One is a third-party entity using a parking lot to sell their wares and goods, which is unfortunate. It's not permitted per the ordinances as they are written today. The other one is holding events which are not a primary purpose or primary item that is put forth by the business in its current location. So we're very well aware of it. Notice has been more than provided, and Randall and I will be attending the hearing and vigorously arguing the township's position.
Yes, I'm sure you were. I was just curious if you're starting to see a trend, or if there are any trends, or these are just two one-offs.
I think they're two one-offs. It's not that somebody's seeing. They're not the same exact fact patterns. Is what I'm saying. So, but again,
Right,
we do.
I agree.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Managers report, Mark.
The only thing that I wish to add to that wasn't in my written report is earlier this week, I forwarded the invitation to the board for the bell dedication. They're asking for an RSVP. I know Charles sent one earlier today. So if you're planning on attending the bell dedication on July 9th, they're asking you to RSVP.
What time is that?
11 o'clock. The bell has been put in place as of this morning.
I'll be there.
Public Works did an excellent job with we kind of installed the bell, but not all of it, but it's a nice installation.
Thanks, Denny.
That's all I have.
Any questions for the manager? All right, ordinances and resolutions. First one is ordinance number 2025-07, zoning ordinance text amendment, incorporating off-street parking provisions and modifying building height requirements of the flexible development district.
Mr. Chairman, this ordinance has been advertised and is ready for adoption.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-07 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Next, we have ordinance number 2025-08, emergency service provider cost reimbursement.
Mr. Chairman, likewise, this ordinance has been properly advertised and is ready for adoption.
Move to approve ordinance 2025-08 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next, we have resolution number 2025-43, establishing fees for reimbursement of costs for emergency responses by emergency service providers, ambulance and fire and rescue companies.
Mr. Chairman, this is directly related to the ordinance previously adopted. This is just the fees, current fees for the various different services.
Mr. Chairman, I would move for adoption of resolution number 2025-43, establishing fees for reimbursement of costs for emergency responses by emergency service providers, ambulance, and fire and rescue companies.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anything on the old business list that anyone would like to have a discussion on today? I would just point out that in the manager's report, there was a workup of speeding in 10th and 11th Avenue, Whiteford Road area. And so I think when you actually run the numbers and take a look at what the speeds are, the average speed is well below the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and there are only very, very, very occasional people that go faster than the 25 miles an hour.
Correct.
So I know a lot of people's perception when you're standing along the side of a narrow road is that a car is moving much faster than it actually is, but I think the facts bear out that we're not seeing the speeding in the area that the residents believe that they're seeing. Fair assessment, Chief? No chicken dance today, right? And we talked about the bell, so anything else anyone wants to talk about?
I think they also mentioned Sundale and Schoolhouse.
Oh, they did,
In
yes.
that- in that
And
report.
likewise, similar
Likewise.
situation.
Yep.
The speeds are much
Section.
lower than the perception. All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Thank you very much, everyone. Meeting adjourned.